Well, it's Black Friday, and I'm here, and Jesse's going to do a lot of the talking because I've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning drinking. But we're still searching for Black Friday deals, and we may have found some for the Diamondbacks. May have found their own in a 2-for-1 deal in getting a new assistant pitching coach. That's also their bullpen coach. We're talking about all of this in 90 seconds. I'm going to try to stay awake. Don't you go anywhere. I didn't make a joke when I said that was a mistake when I said 90 seconds. Go to Jesse. I need 60 more seconds.
Ski ye and welcome into today's edition of the PHN. I don't think I've ever said ski in my life, well, Derek. Nope. I hated all 7 milliseconds of that. But welcome into the PHNX Dbacks show, where apparently I'm gonna have to do a lot of the heavy lifting because Derek is just he just really had a great Thanksgiving and apparently has this tradition where inexplicably early in the morning on Friday, he gets up not to go shopping, but to just hang out with friends, which I can respect, but also why?
I don't know why. 8-Bit Ale Works, shout out to them out in Avondale, Arizona. They
he drove to Avondale for this?
Yeah, I went out to Avondale for this.
Oh my God!
And yes, we had some wonderful Black Mage beers, and they were of different varieties, including like cookies and moon pies and all sorts of wonderful stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, this is typically a day I'm not going to be at 100% regardless. I will say this though, I do love Black Friday shopping. Black Friday shopping is incredible. You can always get some good deals, and we know the Diamondbacks are going to need to figure out a way to save as much money while doing as much as possible this offseason. They did already find themselves a little 2-for-1 deal, a little BOGO, Jesse, if you will. They got themselves, instead of going out and getting themselves an assistant pitching coach and a bullpen coach, they just got one guy to do both jobs. See, efficiency. We're already running this team more efficiently. Biomechanics.
I think they should try to do this with every aspect of the organization, Derek.
Yeah, yes.
Like, why hire both a first base coach and a third base coach when you can just have the first base coach run over to third base?
Yeah.
Like what? You just standing there the whole game, right?
It's crazy. Of course he can. It's wild to think that we can't figure out a way to get a first baseman that's also a DH, that's also a relief pitcher.
Yeah.
Is that out of the question? I don't think so. But the Diamondbacks have hired their assistant pitching coach / bullpen coach in Wellington Cepeda, which was the bullpen coach for the Marlins from 2020 through 2024. He spent 4 seasons in the Diamondbacks minor league system as a relief pitcher back in my day of 1997 through 2000. He did not get above high A, but familiar with the organization and, of course, familiar with helping young pitchers in a Marlins organization, I guess, reach that next level.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks seem to... I'm not going to say that they're always targeting guys who have experience in the organization when they make these kinds of hires, but you know, their pitching coordinator that they recently let go, Dan Carlson, had been in the organization from day one, had literally had a job with the Diamondbacks either as a pitcher or as a coach going back to the inauguration of the franchise in 1998. And this is not the exact same situation with Cepeda. He comes over from the Miami Marlins organization, was their bullpen coach for 5 seasons. But does have some experience in the Diamondbacks organization as both a player and on the coaching side as well. Don't know a whole lot about him. If you Google Wellington Cepeda, you're not going to find a ton of feature stories or anything about this guy. But someone who has experience in the organization and has a pretty big job. Both as you said, both the bullpen coach for this Diamondbacks team, as well as an assistant pitching coach. Maybe they have plans to hire another assistant pitching coach beyond this, but yeah, I'm sure he's a name that we're going to hear a lot here over probably the next few seasons.
It's interesting because at times even I wonder what all of these guys do, what all of their responsibilities are. And then when you hear Torey sometimes talk about the delegation of duties from one coach to another, yes, like Jesse's right, there is very much the possibility that they could and might need another assistant pitching coach. It just means for right now, he is capable of handling both of those duties. And of course, the Diamondbacks needed to kind of have him in place, whoever that person would be, whoever their bullpen coach / assistant pitching coach is, just to once again get their input on what they're going to do this offseason, especially when it comes to the bullpen and any kind of relief pitchers that they might pick up. It's not like he's going to have a big say in it. It's not like it's that important. It's just getting the coaching staff in place when you are hiring a new coaching staff is more important to get that done first, and then you can kind of take a look at talent and who you're going to go after. I'm sure they're already doing that. Mike Hazen doesn't sleep. He doesn't stop shopping around. He knows all of the best deals right now on Black Friday, and including he knows where to get that $175 55-inch TV. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys. He might not tell you, but he knows where to get it, and he knows that's the best value. I am very excited at the idea of being able to call another person on the Diamondbacks Beef Wellington again. And with it being this time of year, I'm very much craving Beef Wellington now that they've hired this man. But I think that when you talk about hiring people from within the organization that have had experience, right? The one key there is that person a little bit better than you might know other candidates that you're evaluating, right? Like if you're bringing in other people from outside, you might not have any kind of relationship with them. However, with someone like this, even if that relationship dates back 10, 15, 20 years, you might still remember like, hey, that Jesse Friedman, he was an all right guy. I would never say that about him, but people might say that about him. Hypothetically in this fictitious situation.
Yeah, Cepeda is also like kind of a legendary baseball name in general, right?
Orlando Cepeda?
Yeah, absolutely. That was definitely a thought that came to my mind when I heard this. I also did, as you alluded to earlier, I did think back to the career of Wellington Castillo because of, them having the same name and all. And it made me think of Wellington Castillo's time in Arizona, which was pretty...
I'm very fond of his time in Arizona. Like he was a lot of fun.
He had a pretty decent amount of pop for a catcher. He had 17 home runs in 2015 after joining the Diamondbacks organization, hit 14 more in 2016. It wasn't the best defensive catcher necessarily, but
he was exciting offensively.
Yeah.
And it was my first opportunity for the franchise to steal a hashtag from me because I started hashtag beef mode.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was the father of hashtag beef mode.
Do we have, can we find evidence of this?
I'm sure you can. I'm not going to do it because that seems like a big waste of my time. But you can take my word for it at this time and then research that later and then call me a liar if I'm wrong. But again, just good to see the Diamondbacks moving along in the process as far as hiring these coaches, getting things established. We do know that winter meetings are coming up very soon. Jesse will be in attendance in Dallas for those. So hopefully we'll see the simmering turn into some real cooking here for the Diamondbacks. And hopefully we can see them, kind of figure out what they're going to do with their positional needs. We are going to talk about some values that are out there on the market that the Diamondbacks might be able to find on today's episode. But the best value of all has already been found. It's already been provided to you baseball fans out there from the Diamondbacks because today on Black Friday, the Diamondbacks have their $299 Ballpark Pass deal going on once again. The best value in baseball. And I, once again, am not, this is another free ad. This is the second free ad I've given out here in the top of the show. Max is going to be furious with me, and I don't care. I'm willing to take that hit today because this really is an incredible opportunity. I have several friends, people I met last year who used the Ballpark Pass, and they loved it. They went to as many games as they wanted to. You can go to all home games for $299. That includes 81 home games and 2 exhibition games during spring training. And I mean, it also gives you the option to upgrade your seat for a fee. And so, of course, you get the opportunity to go and get a fine view from the upper deck, which is always great. But again, if you wanted to add guest passes or if you want to improve your seat, there are options for you to do that when you first claim your tickets for each series. So again, very exciting for that to be available again. I was unsure if they were going to do that, especially after the success. It felt like maybe reaching the World Series, made this team like a little too high of a ticket to do the pass again. But I think it's smart. I think regardless of the success of the Diamondbacks, they're always going to have somewhat of an issue filling up that baseball stadium with Diamondbacks fans, and that's who you want there, even if you have to let them come in the building for basically next to nothing, which is what this pass, seems like per ticket.
That basically is what's happening here.
$3 per ticket?
$3.60 if you include the 2 exhibition games. Now, granted, I don't know how many people are buying this and literally attending all 83 of those games. But just to have access to all 83 games is pretty cool. And, even if you go to 30 games, like that's $10 a piece, right? That's less than you're probably going to be able to find anywhere else during the season. So it's a really, really good deal. The Diamondbacks advertise it as being the best deal in all of baseball. And I haven't vetted that personally in great detail, but it probably is. I mean, $299 for literal season tickets is outrageous. And I know you're not getting all of the benefits of being a season ticket holder if you get this deal, right? That is sort of the one. There is a difference between being a season ticket holder in this form versus being an actual season ticket holder.
Actual season ticket holders pay versus how inexpensive this pass is, right? But
and it's why some season ticket holders I don't think necessarily love that this deal exists, because it gives people access to all of the seats and all those extra few benefits that you get as a season ticket holder. You're paying a lot of extra money for, basically. Right. So,
but I mean, also you have the fact that these tickets tend to be in areas where people don't sit. It's not like the best seat. In the house,
you're probably in the third deck, but you do have opportunities to pay a little bit more to upgrade as well. So,
well, it's funny you say that, because if you're getting this pass, you're most likely not going to every game because of how inexpensive the pass is and the way it works, and the fact that you kind of claim your ticket and make that decision if you want to go. But Jesse, much like the Taco Bell Nacho Lovers Fries Pass, Nacho Fries Lovers Pass, it's 30 days of getting free French fries, right, for a nominal fee. I don't go every day.
That's an actual thing.
That's a real thing. For 30 days, I can go get one free, basically, nacho fry every single day. Do I? No. Do I even do it 5 days out of 7? No, absolutely not. I barely do it enough to make it worthwhile, but I do it enough to get my money's worth and beyond. And sometimes that's all you have to do, right? If you're going to 30 baseball games, you're probably still getting in for a pretty cheap cost. I mean, that's less than half, and you're still not paying that much to go to baseball games. And I think that's the thing is, baseball is a hard game, just like playing fantasy baseball. It's exhausting sometimes to be a season ticket holder. Trust me, from 2 guys that almost go to every single home game, it can be a lot during a season. So I understand when people don't even want to be season ticket holders, not just because of the cost, but because of the frequency of attending baseball games. And that's why the Diamondbacks establish smaller packages and only doing half seasons. Baseball teams do smaller things like that, right? But
Groundhog Mama makes a good point. You will go broke paying for parking for 81 games. So,
I mean, ride the light rail. That's what I was saying. Ride the light rail.
Fair. That is part of the business model here for the Diamondbacks, though, right? Is if they can get you to pay basically nothing to get into all of these games, then they're still going to make money on parking. They're going to make money on concessions. So,
and the hope there is that if you're like me, you are that much more if I get a free ticket to an event, I'm that much more likely to buy merchandise and spend money on food because I have that extra money and I know that I didn't pay for the ticket. So I'm willing to fork out a little bit more. She is right, though. The parking over 81 games can be a lot and can be suffocating, and I totally get that. So we will look forward, though, to seeing you guys out there, because I think that's the one thing about this is it makes it just more accessible for Diamondbacks fans to be season ticket holders, even if it's not officially called that, and just be out there supporting this team, because that's really what they need.
Yeah, and let's face it, those third those third deck seats are not filled every single night,
Right.
as things stand now, or have been in the past, even when this deal has been active. So the Diamondbacks have been pretty open. Like, I mean, I don't know if removing seats from the third deck is in their immediate plans. It sounds like it is not, but it's pretty clear that it would be ideal for the Diamondbacks to have a smaller facility,
Sure.
to have not as many seats at Chase Field in the long term. But for right now, you might as well try to fill as many of those seats as you possibly can. And this is an extremely, extremely affordable way to do that.
Well, of course, we have what do you got there? Do you got some proof? Did you do the investigative work?
Yeah, Derek. So, it might be a waste of you and Jesse's valuable time to do that, but that is what I'm here to do, is do the things that you don't want to do, right? So I went back in time.
Too hungover to do it right now.
Found evidence of beef mode. We have a tweet here from Derek. This came from Derek's account, June 18th, 2015, that says, Beef Wellington, hashtag beef mode. And then the next tweet comes from Derek on June 30th of the same year, where obviously the Dbacks adopted hashtag beef mode, and Derek was very proud of himself in that moment.
See, this isn't sufficient evidence for me, though. Do we have a tweet from Derek using hashtag beef mode?
That's what the one on top.
That's what the one on top is.
That's a separate top. That's a separate.
Yeah.
one.
So the one on top is from like a week before. It's like 12 days before you see it. The first mention from the Dbacks.
Oh,
See. Case closed, Your Honor.
There's even I didn't even grab the one where Derek got a little graphic that says beef mode.
Yeah,
with the old
I even made my
Dbacks
own little
logo.
beef mode graphic.
He had a smartwatch that would go beef mode for him. He called it his go-go gadget watch.
That's right.
So
That's right.
Derek, this was
wow,
really
so
this was really
they really do beef mode. They really did beef mode because of you, huh?
Sometimes I have an impact on the organization. What can I say? Anyway, on the other side of this break we're going to do right now, we're going to try to continue to have an impact on the organization, and we are going to give the Arizona Diamondbacks a good trade target for them to possibly replace Christian Walker with. Of course, once again, the best replacement for Christian Walker is Christian Walker. That goes without saying, but we will talk about maybe a suitable one on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And we know we got some NFL action going on right now as we speak. We thank you guys for being here. Despite that going on, you guys are the true MVPs of today. But get down on the Bet365 app. Of course, Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting, and they offer the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports. See for yourself right now with all the amazing deals. You can get down on an early payout offer on NFL football, where if your team goes up by 17 points or more, you get an instant payout that counts for parlay and same game parlay selections as well. Download the Bet365 app and use that code of PHNX365 when you sign up. Place a bet of at least $5 or more and receive $150 in bonus bets. Find out why, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Well, I've said it before, and there is no bigger of a baller move than getting your significant other a vehicle this holiday season, and you can do so over at Sanderson Ford. I know today is Black Friday, but all month long, Sanderson Ford has been providing customers with their Black Friday sale as a thank you to you. Of course, they are very thankful to have lived and prospered in Glendale, Arizona for the past 70 years, and they are thankful for you, their customers, and they are showing it with a Black Friday thank you sale that has gone on this entire month of November and is coming to a wrap tomorrow. But if you're looking for a new vehicle, check out their lot over there in Glendale. You can get deals on the new 2024 F-150 truck with 3.9% APR financing for 86 months, plus up to $4,000 cash back. Similar savings on over 900 new and pre-owned vehicles on the lot. So don't miss the Sanderson Ford Black Friday thank you sale going on right now. OAC through Ford credit up to $4,000 cash back requires a trade-in of a 95 or newer vehicle. Offer expires November 30th. All right, Jesse. Well, someone in the chat was talking about it. They were demanding that we move on to the main course here, and that is Yandy Diaz talk. And that is the trade target we are discussing today for the Arizona Diamondbacks. First baseman Yandy Diaz from the Tampa Bay Rays. He had himself a pretty good season, as he seems to do. Taking a look at his numbers from 2024, he slashed 281, 341, 414 with 14 home runs, 65 RBI, and a 1.9 FWAR. Not necessarily Christian Walker-esque, but a little bit better, average and a little bit better getting on base. But again, still not the slug necessarily of Christian Walker. Very good first baseman, though, nonetheless, and a guy that could be a very suitable replacement over there for the Snakes.
This was a decent season for Yandy Diaz, but it was a far cry from the season he had in 2023. In 2023, Yandy Diaz hit 330.
Yeah.
A 410 on base percentage, a 522 slug, 22 homers, 78 RBI. He was worth 5 wins above replacement that year, a 163 WRC plus. He won the batting title in the American League. He finished 6th in AL MVP voting. This is a guy who was a superstar level player in 2023, and in 2024 was good, but not great, right? So if you acquire a Yandy Diaz from the Tampa Bay Rays, you can dream on maybe not getting him to repeat that 2023 season, but believing that this guy who has had one of the best hit tools in all of baseball for a number of years could bounce back to some degree. And maybe he's not hitting 35 homers. Maybe he's not giving you Christian Walker level power, but his offensive ceiling, I think, is probably higher than any first base target that we've talked about.
And if you take a look at his contract, it's fairly attractive for a guy that you might not be sure what you are going to get out of him, whether you're going to get 2024 or 2023. He has 2 years of club control remaining. He will make $10 million in 2025, which is not a lot of money, at least for baseball teams. It's a ton of money for me. And it has a $12 million club option with no buyout for 2026. So should he not perform, the Diamondbacks could move on, essentially. If he does, $22 million over the next 2 seasons is quite the discount from what they just offered Christian Walker essentially for one.
Right. Yeah. You definitely be getting a big discount financially. Christian Walker, as we've discussed, is, you're probably looking at 3 years somewhere between $55 and $70 million, something like that. So you're definitely saving some money. Obviously, you're going to have to give up some assets in order to trade for him, though. We'll get to that in a second. One thing I do want to say about Yandy Diaz is he's not the best defender in the universe.
No.
He is. He's getting up there in age a little bit as well. He's definitely older than the Ryan Mountcastle and Nathaniel Lowe's that we've discussed recently. Diaz is 33 years old, so he is technically 2025 will be his age 33 season. So he's a little bit older than some of those other guys. Not the best defender at first base. -5 defensive runs saved, -3 outs above average in 2024.
Don't love it. And you're not going to love it when you see him play first base and not have Christian Walker over there. I'll tell you that much.
The delta there is pretty enormous for sure. He also DH'd 30 games for the Rays in 2024, and that probably wouldn't be the worst idea for the Diamondbacks or any team that traded for Diaz at this stage in his career. Getting him off his feet a little bit is probably a good idea. It's funny though, talking about Diaz being like, oh, he's getting up there in age, and I'm also realizing that Christian Walker is still older than he is. So it really just goes to show how amazing it is that Walker has aged as well as he has and is still as good of a defensive player as he is at this stage in his career. Diaz is not that guy, but as we said earlier, offensively, there's still a lot to like.
Some of us age better than others, Jesse. It's just the way it works.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. I will say this though. Do you foresee that regardless of the option the Diamondbacks go with, that they're going to have some sort of platoon situation at first base in order to kind of replace Christian Walker? I mean, this wouldn't be a platoon necessarily, right? But like you said, 30 games at DH and having someone else in there, probably wouldn't play even 142 games in a Torey Lovullo lineup. We know that. Maybe he would if he stayed healthy the whole year, but Torey just likes to give his guys off and give them time off their feet. But I mean, do you foresee that the Diamondbacks can make up Christian Walker and both his defense and offensive production with just one guy?
Yeah, I think if you're acquiring Yandy Diaz, then you're going to play him every day. I mean, he's a level of player who definitely deserves that. But as we said, like you might want Yandy Diaz to DH for you some as well. So maybe Pavin Smith does get some opportunities over at first base, and every once in a while Diaz goes over to DH, but Diaz is still sort of acting as an everyday player in that scenario. Our buddy Jack Summers makes a good point in the comments. I think I did see this as well, that there's an assignment bonus. So Yandy Diaz gets a $1 million bonus if he is traded, which is paid by the receiving club. So that's something that we would want to factor in as well. So
that would be like 11 million in 2025.
Yeah, I think he would make 11 million, which is still a pretty reasonable salary figure. Riley Dunn also pointed out in the chat that some of his underlying numbers are pretty impressive. We do have a screenshot here of Diaz's baseball savant page for the 2024 season. And
that's a lot of red, Jesse.
There's a lot of red.
There's a
lot of red here. And seeing how much red there is, it might be surprising to you that he was only a little bit above league average as a hitter in 2024. You see the chase rate is exceptional. The whiff rate is exceptional. He doesn't really strike out, a 15.3% strikeout rate this year. The barrel rate is league average. So again, this is not a guy who has a ton of power. But if we were to look at his savant page from say 2023, I mean, it's like bright red across the board, elite level stuff. So this is a guy who was a pretty good hitter in 2024, a 116 OPS plus. That's pretty good, only a few points shy of Christian Walker. But again, the ceiling here, based on what we've seen in the past, is quite high.
Well, what are you cooking up with a mock trade for this one? Of course, the chat is ready to mock you.
I know that they are ready to mock me.
Let's get to the trade.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and dive in. So this is our first 2-for-2 mock trade that we've had. So this one
we don't have to eat money on this one or nothing, Jesse?
I don't think there's any money eating that would have to happen. If anything, the Rays maybe kicking in a few $1 million. But yeah, so we have the Arizona Diamondbacks acquiring Yandy Diaz and right-handed pitcher Pete Fairbanks from the Tampa Bay Rays, and in exchange, the Rays receiving Jake McCarthy as well as right-handed pitcher Slade Ciccone. So this is a 2-for-2, as I said earlier. Pete Fairbanks being the other piece going back to the Diamondbacks. I wrote about Pete Fairbanks recently as a potential relief pitcher target for the Diamondbacks. We haven't discussed him on the show. Just so people have some quick background on him, Fairbanks has been one of the better closers in the league for the past several years. 2024 was not his best season, 45 1/3 innings, a 3.57 ERA. He went down with injury toward the end of the year with a right lat strain. Diamondbacks fans know a thing or two about lat injuries.
Brother, do we?
Eduardo Rodriguez missed a fair amount of time with that. So Fairbanks, on the injury side, I will be honest that there are some concerns with Fairbanks. I'm very curious what the Diamondbacks' perspective on Fairbanks from a health standpoint is moving forward. They might just view him as someone that they don't really want to trade for. However, as I said earlier, Fairbanks has been one of the better closers in the league for the past several years. And I think if he's healthy, you can still talk yourself into him being pretty good in that role for a couple more seasons. Like Diaz, Fairbanks also has 2 years of club control remaining, pretty affordable. So the big advantage of this deal is that unlike some of the other ones where you're trading a Jake McCarthy or an Alek Thomas and just getting one player in return, here you're trading a Jake McCarthy, which admittedly that's a tough loss, but you're solving two of your needs at the same time. You're getting that back end reliever, and you're also getting a first baseman with 2 years of club control.
And we all saw how Slade pitched in the video game version of the playoffs. So
not
that I want to actually hold that against the real person, Jesse. I don't want to do that, but I can't help but do that.
The real Slade Ciccone was not a ton better than that video game version in 2024. Ciccone seems to me like a guy who is just, I don't want to say he's hit a dead end with the Diamondbacks. Like I could totally see him bouncing back in 2025, but the Rays their pitching apparatus is unbelievable. And if any team could take Slade Ciccone and plug him in as a number 4 starter, the
would
Rays
be the one with the 3.57 ERA.
The Rays very well could figure that out. And that's a concern you always have when you're trading with the Tampa Bay Rays, right? You sort of have to know that anyone you deal over there is bound to just sort of blossom and become way better than they've ever been before. But I kind of like this for both sides. This is something I could see the Rays being interested in. And from the Diamondbacks perspective, it is a decent amount to give up. 4 years of control of a really good outfielder in Jake McCarthy. But again, getting both of those pieces back, I think could make some sense for them.
I don't hate it. I don't think I disagree with Riley. Riley says I feel like it's a little too lopsided for the D-backs. I don't think so, based on Fairbanks's injury concern. And honestly, again, you're talking about Jake McCarthy being a fairly hot commodity right now. There are a lot of teams that are interested in Jake McCarthy. So like you kind of have the Yandy Diaz, Jake McCarthy offset a little bit there, but I mean, it goes the other way with Fairbanks and Ciccone too. And I don't know. I like this trade quite a bit. I just
Riley could totally be right. Like, it's hard for me to know what each side actually thinks of these players. Like the Diamondbacks again might want no part of Pete Fairbanks because of that lat injury. That was his second lat injury in the last 3 years.
Yeah,
that's a little concerning.
I think
his velo dropped a couple miles an hour in 2024. Still threw 97, but it averaged 99 the 2 seasons before that. So we've seen a bit of a downtick there.
I like the idea of him not necessarily needing to be the closer. I know that that's the role that they would bring him in for, but just to have that high leverage arm that could also still pitch late and add to the bullpen. I mean,
sure,
that could still be a good option that the Diamondbacks go out and still add another arm on top of Fairbanks. But good trade. I like it. And I like the idea of Yandy Diaz again. Maybe I like the idea of a 2023 Diaz versus a 2024 Diaz, but
right. If you're getting 2023 Diaz, then that's a pretty darn good trade for the Diamondbacks
for sure.
And again, the Rays might have no interest in doing that. But let's face it, Tampa is in a pretty difficult situation right now for a variety of reasons. Their ballpark situation isn't great. Yes, Kevin.
Dare I say the Rays are in rebuilding mode? Sorry, I just had to interject with that bad pun, bad joke.
But were you saying Ray building mode?
No, their stadium fell apart. They have to rebuild.
Oh, I get the joke.
They don't have a home.
I'm caught up.
I'm mad at him for telling it, but I'm mad at you for not getting it. I don't know how to feel here.
Somehow that just went right over my head. They are in rebuilding mode. That's a good one, Kevin.
And the fact that he went to
a good one.
It was a bad one, but the fact that he went to Ray building mode before just like being like, oh, bad joke, let's move on.
I feel like Ray building made yours seem worse because Ray building is actually quite good, and I like it. That made me laugh. I don't know how
I thought you were better than that, Kevin. I thought I just misheard you. You're making a better pun.
I don't have the patience for this today. Okay, I've consumed entirely too much IPA for this, but we are going to talk on the other side of this break about another potential candidate for the Diamondbacks to acquire. This one's through free agency, so we don't have to give up a whole lot, but it's not gonna probably be somebody you guys are super happy about. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Of course, I've said this before, and of course, unless that place you're going is Gila River Resorts and Casinos, today is a great day to do so, and no one does it better. You can get out there, watch this NFL game at the sportsbook, enjoy your best life, get down on their slots. Of course, you can visit any one of their 4 locations to experience the best that the Valley has to offer. And of course, like I said, go all in with over 4,500 slots and live table games. Have yourself a good time. You can check out their amazing dining options. You could plan a little staycation, maybe take the family out there for a fun night out. Regardless of what you're doing, head to Gila River Resorts and Casinos and let them show you what Next Level is all about. We will be hosting all sorts of events there, including our upcoming PHNX Live event with our very own Archie Bradley. It's going to be a Q&A with Archie Bradley, free for diehards, so make sure to join us for that. And of course, you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playathila.com for more details. Also, I need a trip right now to Circle K. I need liquids. I need to be hydrated. I need all of that stuff. And it's America's thirst stop. So regardless of what time of year, even when it's cold like this outside, you can take care of yourself over at Circle K. Of course, get down on their free membership program right now. You can join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. And what can happen for you is you can get a wonderful discount like I did last night when my father-in-law didn't take the pie out of the freezer in an efficient amount of time, thus not allowing us to have Thanksgiving dessert. And then I had to scramble by going to Circle K and buying 2 fruit cherry pies by Hostess and a lemon Circle K pie. And let me tell you, when the little discount came off the top, that was probably the highlight of my evening in that moment, because I was pretty mad that I was buying pie at a Circle K. But you know who had my back when everyone else was closed? Circle K had my back. They had my dessert. They got me through the night.
Yeah, the Circle K, it's one of the best things is they're just open.
They're just always they're always packed, open. Jesse, because these stores these days don't stay open on Thanksgiving. I don't know if you knew that. They apparently let their employees go home to enjoy the holiday with their families or whatever. But people were out. People were out in mass, and they needed food, and the fine folks at Circle K were feeding them, and bless them for being open. Anyway, we have more talk about how the Diamondbacks can fill their hole both at first base and maybe at DH, considering the losses of Jock Peterson and Randall Grichuk. And of course, we got ourselves another target through free agency. That would be the one and only Justin Turner, if he's not busy being gritty for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Is that part of his job description now?
No, that's actually, I didn't know you didn't. Yeah, Justin Turner is actually gritty. He's a mascot for a hockey team. It's a whole other thing.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. He runs around with googly eyes. Justin Turner, though, we know a little bit about him. Spent a lot of time there with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and is a name that we talked about, I guess, last offseason as a potential addition to this team for their designated hitters role.
I think we discussed him as maybe playing some third base for the Diamondbacks, although we probably dismissed that, because I don't think you want Justin Turner playing third base at this stage in his career. This man is 40 years old, Derek, and there are not all that many active Major League players who are older than him. I can think of Yuli Gurriel, who played toward the end of the 2024 season. Of course, Verlander, Scherzer, I think Charlie Morton as well. But yeah, He's one of the older players in the league and still manages to be a pretty solid player.
Yeah.
He spent the 2024 season with the Toronto Blue Jays before being traded to the Seattle Mariners. And he, not great numbers, but not terrible numbers either. He slashed .259, .354, .383, 11 homers, 55 RBI, 1.2 Fangraphs wins above replacement. Again, I would caution people about how difficult it is to hit, specifically in Seattle. He had a 117 WRC plus in 2024, which again is only, I think that's like 3 or 4 points shy of Christian Walker, which, not to say that Justin Turner is as good of a hitter as Walker. Walker certainly has way more power at this stage in his career, but Turner can get on base. That 354 on base percentage still has a lot of value. And Turner's been doing this for years, man, just like working really gritty at bats, making opposing pitchers very, very frustrated.
You said the thing. You guys heard that, right? All right, go ahead.
See, when I make puns, it's accidental. All right. Only 11 home runs in 2024, but this is still a well-rounded hitter who can work at bats and find his way on base.
The one thing about Justin Turner that's fascinating is he doesn't really have significant left-right splits in his career.
Yeah,
right. He has
crazy.
821 OPS in his career against both lefties and righties.
I don't know how that's possible.
How does that
honestly.
That was like when I sent you and Damon the screenshot that somehow during the course of a fantasy football game, the two of you had scored the exact same amount of points down to the decimal
down
point.
To the 100th decimal place.
How do these things in life happen? I don't know. But 821 OPS against both lefties and righties, that is fairly significant considering that the Diamondbacks did try to create one guy out of two with essentially their DH platoon situation last year. And Turner could just be that answer for them.
Yeah. And
once
Turner,
again, one guy instead of two. It's a crazy notion.
There you go. Yeah. Turner at this stage defensively, like, I'm not sure you even want him playing first base every day. In 2024, he split time. He played 86 games as a designated hitter, and then 43 at first base. Did show up in 6 games as a third baseman as well. So yeah, if you do sign a Justin Turner, he does fit the Diamondbacks roster reasonably well. Like, he could be that platoon partner with a Pavin Smith at first base, while also being someone who could sort of take over full time if Pavin was struggling offensively. And if Pavin isn't struggling offensively, then you can let Pavin start against righties, and then maybe Justin Turner's your first baseman against lefties. And then when Pavin is in there against a righty, then you could have Turner slide over to DH. if the Diamondbacks don't, go sign Jock Peterson or something for that spot. So there is definitely a way that he could fit the roster. Is he the option here that Diamondbacks fans probably want the most? No, I don't. I don't think so. He's not. Again, this is a player who's getting up there in age, and at any point, the production could just sort of fall off to the point where he's not really a valuable major leaguer anymore. But he was still a valuable major leaguer in 2024. And if the Diamondbacks want to allocate more of their financial resources to some of the other needs and go with a cheaper option to fill that first base DH slot, then Turner wouldn't be a terrible choice.
Last year you had guys kind of blossom in that role, and you could see Justin Turner do that even at the age of 40. Let's not discount people that are 40 years old. We still have value in life around here. Okay. Let's take a look at his baseball savant. In fact, in 2024, that at least proves he does have some value there with his sweet spot percentage and his squared up. Like, he could still hit the ball well. He just doesn't. I don't feel like he has the same. He's getting up there in age. You're just not going to have that same bat speed, exit velo, some of those kind of things. But like I said here, he's still got a great eye, and he still does a great job here as far as a hitter in the box. It's kind of fits the mold a little bit of the Diamondbacks bringing in a veteran like they have over the past few years to add that kind of, I guess, veteran leadership and experience to the clubhouse.
He's your 2025 Evan Longoria, right? Like, that's sort
Jock
of
Peterson in a way too, which we never expected him to really be, but ended up being.
Sure. Yeah. He would kind of fill a nice veteran presence role in the clubhouse for sure. If we can go back to the Savant page one more time, I do want to point out just how abysmal the bat speed is at this stage in his career.
Yeah, I just glazed over that.
It is
for
first percentile, 65.1 miles an hour. League average is somewhere in the mid 70s, low mid 70s. So 65 is pretty low. That's like Luis Arraez territory bat speed. And then
that's my bat speed.
I think my bat speed is probably like 36 miles an hour or something. But he does not have much bat speed at this stage in his career, which goes back to what I said earlier about he's not a big home run hitter anymore. But there was some bright red that you saw at the bottom of that Savant page as well. The chase rate, the whiff rate, strikeout rate, walk rate, all of those things are still really good. And the sweet spot percentage, I wouldn't read too much into that. That's really a launch angle thing. So it doesn't say anything about how hard he hit the ball. It just speaks to how often he was able to hit the ball at an ideal launch angle, which sort of explains why his batting average is still in a pretty decent, not great, but pretty decent place at this stage in his career. So yeah, he's not hitting the ball out of the ballpark, but
you're still hitting it at like 34 degrees or something like that, right? Like, there's a good 29 to 34 degrees. You're still getting out there.
Right. Launch angle is a big part of hitting for sure. So Justin Turner still at this stage is still bringing something to the table.
I think the main reason why this is an attractive fit for the Diamondbacks is cost. That's pretty much it. Between the experience that he's going to bring, the fact that he still does have something to offer offensively, and just the overall cost. It does allow the Diamondbacks to address other needs, find other ways to improve this team. And honestly, they're not really that far off from being, I think, where they want to be. I think that this would be a better fit, perhaps more as like a DH or depth option rather than necessarily being like their full, even a platoon split at first base. Like, I don't love that at all, but there's a lot that Justin Turner can still add to this team. As some of you in the chat have pointed out, we've attempted over the course of this offseason already to turn this into the Dodgers team from 2018, I think, and 19. That's basically what we're trying to do. It's Riley done right there. He says Jock Peterson, Justin Turner, Cody Bellinger, Dbacks offseason that would have made your blood boil in 2018.
That is a good point. I think getting all of those guys would maybe be a little bit redundant at a certain point, but yeah, I'm curious. So, like, this is going to be a 1 year. It would be
hilarious if we won the division with them, though, Jesse. It would be hilarious.
Yeah, see if you can trade for Chris Taylor. We need to get all of the Dodgers from that era. So this is going to be a 1 year contract. I'm curious, what's the most that you would be willing to pay Justin Turner on a 1 year deal?
based on his 2024 numbers, $7 million.
I think that's pretty reasonable. Fangraphs had the crowdsource on Fangraphs has him for 1 year, 8 million right now. So yeah, the biggest appeal of going this route is that it should be pretty affordable. It should leave you some money for other to use on some of your other needs that you have. So yeah, I wouldn't want to be in double digits territory. I think 8 million is probably on the higher end for me as well.
Riley also asked, how do you think a Jordan Montgomery trade where we can save something like 15 million after trading him would affect how we attack this offseason? And I think it would be pretty significant, to be fair. Honestly, I mean, I know that the Diamondbacks already have a lot of money committed, and I know they're willing to spend a little bit more. But when you talk about 15 million, we talk about a guy like Justin Turner, that 15 million could just help add that depth. It could add the reliever. It could add a elite closer, to be honest, with $15 million. So that's quite a lot of money, at least for one season. And I think that's the reason why you do it. It makes sense with the surplus of pitchers. It doesn't make sense when we inevitably see Jordan Montgomery get back to his old self and have a 3.5 ERA for someone else.
You're like really convinced that's going to happen.
I am so convinced it's going to happen.
But you don't think it's going to happen if he stays here?
No. I don't. No, I didn't say that. No,
Okay.
I think Jordan Montgomery could have that turnaround here. I think that a lot of it had to, and again, I'm not giving him excuses because I feel like he had enough time to turn things around. But if I'm being completely honest on how I feel, I think Jordan Montgomery had a lot of things in his way, a lot of variables last season that impacted his performance. I think this season he has all the reason in the world, especially seeing Blake Snell go get that 5-year deal with the Dodgers, to go out there and shove his ass off this season and be the best version of himself. And that's a self thing. I don't think it matters where he is. He just needs to do that for himself. And I think that motivation is enough to get him back to where a lot of people believe he could still be. I'm not the only one. I mean, there's a lot of teams in Major League Baseball that are interested in Jordan Montgomery, and we as fans sit back and go, why? In what world? And it's because they think the same thing I do, which is this was a crummy year for him. He had a lot of things impact his ability to be at his best, and he has all the reasons why to, be that version in 2025.
I mean, whatever team trades for him, if a trade does happen, is not trading for him, thinking he's going to be the same guy, right? Whatever team trades for him is probably thinking the way that you are. So
right.
I think that's a totally fair perspective to have.
And if the Diamondbacks are willing to eat the amount of money that we think that they might be willing to eat to move him, then it's a much lower risk on that team that's acquiring him on their end.
Right.
And again,
I don't think that to the question earlier, I don't think the Diamondbacks are saving 15 million in a trade like that. I think you're probably saving more like 10, 11 million is probably a good scenario. I don't know why a team would be willing to pick up $15 million of Montgomery's contract after the season he just had.
There you go. And the only reason why is because you believe that looking at his numbers that he's going to regress in a way back to what he was and not still be this version of himself. But again, we don't know that. Baseball is a game where players, no matter how good they are, can suddenly fall off and never find it again. And that's the other side of this. So I think it's a situation that's most likely gonna suck no matter what for the Diamondbacks. You know what I mean? So, but I think that they do have quality pitching, and I think they have guys they trust that make up a 5-man rotation. And I think it makes Jordan Montgomery expendable just in general, let alone the fact that even if they do have to eat that much money, they could still save $10 million. And even that, based on maybe having Jordan Montgomery as the most expensive relief pitcher in baseball, is enough to just move him and not have him be part of your payroll any longer. I don't know. They've done it before, and I think they'd be willing to do it again as far as eating money is concerned. We're going to end things on a little bit of a high note, and that high note is basically that I have this fantasy where Cam Skattebo plays baseball for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and he just mashes the ball because we were having some fun here in the office, and he gave an answer that piqued my interest. Hopefully it'll pique yours too. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back. I am dressed perfectly to go to Chicken and Pickle right now with this outfit. And it really doesn't matter how you're dressed, but you should go check out Chicken and Pickle because it's an amazing facility, a gigantic indoor-outdoor entertainment complex out there in Glendale. You can go have some fun at a Cardinals game and then go check out all the fun to be had at Chicken and Pickle. They have a casual chef-driven restaurant. They have a sports bar. They have games. They have pickleball courts. They have table tennis where Jesse will smoke you on playing some ping pong. They have so much fun to be had, a variety of yard games and enough space to kick back with your friends, your family, and relax, of course, with your favorite peeps. If you're new to pickleball, you can check out their newbie nights. You can get on the courts with others who are also new and ready to learn the game. They have instruction and facilitated play included, as well as a $10 Chicken and Pickle gift card. Of course, if you are very good at pickleball, you can join us. It doesn't matter. You don't even have to be very good. If you just enjoyed pickleball, you can join us for our PHNX Winter Pickleball Tournament on December 14th at Chicken and Pickle. We've doubled the field to 48 teams this year. We'll have all skill levels welcomed. We'll have prizes. We'll have so much fun. Food and drink specials. So check out all of the options over there and sign up at gophnx.com/events. And you can head to chickenandpickle.com to see all the fun you can have at their Glendale location. Also check out Empire Today. Of course, I know the holiday season's creeping up on us. Maybe there's not time left to get those improvements made on your home before you have family come out, but it's a great way to start the new year in 2025. So check out Empire Today. They have easy, quick, and convenient service. You get someone in your home that day. You'll eliminate all of that back and forth to a store. And they will also save you time with their curated product selection, which will have you avoid looking through thousands of samples and just find flooring that matches your needs. They also have their own warranty. They service their own warranty, so you won't have to go to track down manufacturers and get that done for you. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 discount when you use promo code PHNX. Restrictions do apply. See empiretoday.com/PHNX for details. Well, if you are an Arizona State fan, and I don't know where he falls today because it's different from one day to another. This man has
Bear
no
down,
loyalty.
baby.
There it is. I knew it. No loyalty. Forks up from this side. But I will say it has been incredible to watch number 4 for the Sun Devils run over people. Cam Skattebo has been just a joy to watch as a fan of the Sun Devils, and he's been a joy to watch right here in PHNX studios with our friends over at the Sun Devils show. So we had a chance to ask him 5 questions the last time he was in here, and Jesse, wait till you see this. This is the answer he gave us in regards to what he would play if he wasn't running over people in football.
Okay, if you weren't playing football, what other sport would you be interested in playing?
Baseball. That's a no-brainer.
He said baseball. That's a no-brainer. Could you imagine watching Cam Skattebo mash dingers just for a living on the daily? My God, get out of here, Dalton Varsho. We got a new set of forearms in the house. My God, that would be so amazing. Me and Kevin were talking about a Scattabomb. We Scattabomb. There we go. 421 feet to left field. The 17th Scattabomb of the season for Cam Skattebo. Let's go, Jesse. Inject it directly into my veins. I need it. I mean, I'm glad he's out there because the Sun Devils do need him this weekend to go smash the Wildcats and bring the Territorial Cup back home here to Tempe. But yeah, it's he's a lot of fun. It's great to have him in studio. And I don't know, Jesse, what are your thoughts about seeing Skattebo there with a baseball bat in his hand?
Well, so I'm doing a little research here in the moment, and according to the interwebs, Cam Skattebo is a former high school baseball player who played catcher and pitcher for Rio Linda.
2 for 1. Once again, 2 for 1. He can throw the ball to himself.
He's such a catcher.
He is such a catcher.
The backbone of everything they is.
Yeah, I was hoping just to get some positional clarity. Yeah. So now we know, I get, I mean, he could be a two-way player. You know, maybe he's catching and pitching. Maybe he's doing both. But pitching at this stage, now that he's gone as far as he has as as a football player, like, I mean, and any transition back to baseball is going to be a little bit of an uphill battle at this point. Yeah. But who knows? Maybe he's the catcher after Gabriel Moreno. Derek,
DH, Jesse. We have a DH for a reason. No one wants to see him play defense. Nobody wants that. We just want to see him on the offensive side of the ball. Period.
So Gabby continues to be the long-term catcher.
Yeah.
But he'll need a day off every now and then. So maybe Skattebo is the backup, and then Skattebo takes over at DH in more of an everyday capacity. And maybe it's absolute dingers. Yeah, maybe you teach him how to play first base.
I think the man is amazing, and of course, it's really cool to see everything he's been doing this year. It's cool to see the Sun Devils getting the appreciation that they are getting, and for them to be doing everything. And also, while I'm having this ASU Love Fest, I just also want to profess that I love Kenny Dillingham, and I love Mike Luke for making Kenny Dillingham eat one of his stupid cheeseburgers from Del Taco. What do you got over
Kevin
there?
isn't real happy with you.
It's a baseball show, guys.
Yeah, no, I know, but you know what's coming up this weekend. You know what this weekend is. Don't play dumb with me.
They're not playing in the Territorial Cup for baseball. This isn't U of A baseball versus ASU baseball.
Yeah,
this is.
I can make it that. It's
maybe
amazing.
they should just play baseball
by the way.
instead
Bear down
on Saturday.
Why
not?
You know, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing like a scrimmage game between the ASU and U of A football teams and a baseball game, and then that way we could see Cam mash the ball. And I mean, he would hit dingers off of T-Mac. Right?
That's the only Territorial Cup that we would acknowledge on this show.
That's right.
The football one, we don't really care. It's fake. But the baseball one, that's what people really care about.
I know you haven't had any shopping done at all. I know you don't have any. I know you're not even considering shopping, Jesse, but I did have to ask you before we get out of here, do you even look at Black Friday deals?
I do.
Do you get curious as to what this whole Black Friday thing is all about? Why people are so into shopping at a reasonable amount of time before a holiday such as this?
Believe it or not, I actually do a decent amount of Black Friday shopping, not in person, never in person, because as we discussed the other day, I hate shopping in person.
Your third least favorite adult activity, I believe, right?
One of my least favorite adult activities.
Voting was like number one, which is still just crazy.
Taxes was number one. Voting was number two.
Government institutions in general, Jesse is not a fan of.
But yeah, so I do Black Friday shopping, but it tends to be entirely self-centered. So I don't start thinking about other people and what I might get them for Christmas until, December 24th at 3 or 4 o'clock local time. But at this stage, when the deals are really good, I do like to think about myself and get myself something nice. So
it's not the worst thing. It's not the worst thing. Like, trust me, no one's going to buy me good gifts at this point in my life. That stage of my life is over. It's not to say that my wife doesn't every once in a while come through with a banger, right? She got the electric scooter that everybody sees me ride everywhere around downtown. That was one from her. That was a very useful gift. But it has to be practical. Like she very much opposes the idea of getting me a Lego Millennium Falcon just because I want it, Jesse. So I have to buy that for myself on Black Friday, and I did. So don't think I didn't get that. I will say, though, the best Black Friday sale is going on right now at our store. It's store.allcitynetwork.com. You can get up to 75% off. Get down on these shirts right now. Our guy Rickety Bridge said he bought an irresponsible amount of shirts from PHNX. I love that. I mean, stock up, right? There's lots of sports. There's lots of times of the year you think ahead, right?
Yeah.
We know baseball isn't here right now, but there's nothing better than buying yourself a new shirt that maybe you tuck away and you don't wear, and then you're like, oh, I haven't even worn this one yet because I was waiting for baseball season. So I had some fun Sun Devils stuff that I got to do that with. Big Kev, yeah, he's flipping me off, but it's all right. I earned that.
If you've been on the fence about buying, select merch from the PHNX locker, there just isn't a better time than today. It never is discounted the way that it is on Black Friday. And if you're a diehard, then I believe you get an even nicer discount than everyone else.
Great time. Great time to go get your diehard membership, of course. Also a great time, like Corbin Barrel says, for Mike Hazen to get the stove warmed up. He says, call Hazen and tell him the stove is getting cold. We are ready for some moves to be made, as are we. So hopefully we'll get something soon.
I think we might have mentioned this before, but Hazen has made a trade in November for 3 straight seasons. So
that's in jeopardy.
That is
Jesse.
very much in jeopardy.
We got
here
2 days left.
Over the next 48 hours or so. He also has made like there have been some free agent signings that have happened in December as well. Mark Melanson was signed on December 1st.
No me gusta.
Merrill Kelly and Zach Greinke Both of those, I guess Zach Greinke certainly predates Mike Hazen, but yeah, those were early December moves. The Paul Goldschmidt trade was an early December move as well. So based on the track record of this regime, it wouldn't be surprising to see some action here leading up to the winter meetings. But I don't know.
Get going, Mike. Get going, Mike.
We'll see. At this point, I'm not. My gut is that we might be waiting until the winter meetings or at some point thereafter before we see anything. But
we will be back on Monday with another 1 p.m. show, so make sure to join us for that. I hope you guys had plenty to eat yesterday, and much like me, need to go take a nap. So you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. Jesse is at Jesse N. Friedman. Of course, large, intimate. Kevin Thomas has a new Twitter handle that I don't know. What is it?
Kevo Posts, so Kevo and then posts.
It's so complicated.
Why do you always have to do? Why can't you just figure out a way to have a normal Twitter handle?
Yours is Cap_Caveman.
I know, it's easy to say with a K. You have that K on the end. It's great. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but all roads do tend to lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for your time. We appreciate you stopping by. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you Monday. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it is so much more fun when you have an entirely new wardrobe of PHNX shirts.
We all silly like the mayor.